Rockstar gang, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound that like button. Appreciate everyone in here. Earl Locklear is in here. What's going on? Panthers Prime podcast. What's good? What's good? What's good? What up, Doug? Yeah, heard Dan Morgan correctly. Yeah, unfortunately, we heard him. You know, I was hoping we never ever. There's like two things that I was after last season that I was hoping that I would never hear again. And that is the word vanilla and retool. Those were my two. And of course, here we are again. And we're going to dive into that. We're also going to dive into some other stuff that just happened recently. Looks like we brought in some new guys for the practice squad. And we're going to dive into some other things. So shout out to you guys in the chat. James Panther, what's up, man? Antonio McClenaham, I think I pronounced your last name correctly. He said, like, subscribe, share the stream, please. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He knows what's up. Cyber, good morning to you, sir. What's up, Clay? Good morning. 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 Let's start off with some good vibes. Give me a second here because I got to get some stuff together. We're gonna let some people get in here. We're gonna let some people get in here, and then we'll get right back into it. I'm trying to get something set up real quick. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone coming in. Smash that like button for me, baby. We already got 15 people in here. Make sure you smash it. Smash that like button while I get this set up. I got a PowerPoint presentation. Live on my live stream, but I'm just getting stuff set up right now. Okay. Yeah. All right. Love you. Smash that like button, everyone. We're going to get started here shortly. Just give me a few more seconds. Good morning, good morning. Bringing in some good morning vibes to you. I have a PowerPoint presentation too as well today. All right. Perfect. Mad chatter. Am I putting fires out? Just getting some stuff together for you guys. Dan's more answer. Brant Tillis press conference made me anxious. Why can't they just admit we're rebuilding? Because we definitely should be. Agent Tack. I mean, the reason that they're doing that, I think, is just because they don't want to put that narrative out there. We'll dive more into it. I think it's a narrative thing. I honestly think it's more of a narrative thing than anything. So, we'll dive into that though. All right. We'll dive into that. All right, guys, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Welcome to the channel. There are a couple things I want to go over. I want to start off with this wonderful some news we have this morning. We added a former offensive lineman from the Buccaneers and a former Clemson. It makes me cringe saying that team because if you guys know me and you've watched the channel enough, you know I'm not a Clemson fan whatsoever. I'm a, so I'm a little cringed on that. It seems that Joe Persons of the wonderful Athletic, which we're going to talk more about them later on today, are coming in with some practice squad guys. Looks like they made some moves. So it continues to happen. It's going to continue to happen. I'm not surprised by this, but it just keeps coming in. So you like that? Yeah, do y'all like that? Do you like the moves? Do you like that? So moves are coming in. So they basically are shaking up things on this practice squad all over again, honestly, it seems like. And even after filling it to the brim with 16 players just a day ago, they went ahead and did this. So Dan Morgan has made it clear that he plans on to stay aggressive throughout the season. We'll talk more about that. Obviously, he's proving it, snagging 6 players off of waivers on Wednesday, which we're going to talk about those guys. We're going to break them down a little bit today. And then the team added 4 more practice squads yesterday. So they're just not done yet. This is I think Dan Morgan's going to continue to do this. He's going to shift guys in and out, and that he feels that until he feels like he's got some guys that maybe can develop into starters. And maybe that's what he's doing with the practice squad. But again, he's also mentioned in that press conference, he's going to continue to stay aggressive throughout the whole season. And obviously, if guys get waived, guys get cut, maybe trades, who knows, right? If Dan Morgan continues to stay this aggressive, I'm okay with it, because honestly, if we think about it, we think about the Scott Fitterer days when we were in on every single deal. And I know Doug in the chat's got PTSD from Mr. Scott Fitterer. He does not mention his name. Doug is a good friend of mine. We have connected so much lately. And we're just like, I feel like we've been friends for years now after talking to him. And he told me, Clay, never mention his name. But I can't. It's just something I have to revert back to because of last year. Like, this is what we've been wanting to see as Carolina Panthers fans, is actually see a guy be aggressive. Go out there, go and try to, if this guy ain't panning out, but this guy looks like he could be, okay, let's start bringing in guys. We'll continue. It's like we're going to continue to bring tryouts. It's like we're constantly having tryouts. Antonio Friday, we do not need to sign Kadarius Toney. And I will tell you guys this again. I like Paris Campbell. So Antonio Friday, I wouldn't be mad at Paris Campbell. But Kadarius Toney, I'll tell you once and I'll tell you again. Kadarius Toney is about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. All right? That's about as good as you're going to get. The guy won a Super Bowl. He needs to go ahead and go do whatever he's supposed to do next. I don't know what he's going to do next, but he needs to go do something next. And it's not football. Or maybe he finds himself back in the UFL or the XFL, whatever the case may be. All right. I'm just being honest. I don't know why these Panthers fans think that we need to go out and get Kadarius Toney. Any of these guys, and I would even say Jalen Coker is better than Kadarius Toney. The guy Deion Kane's probably better than Kadarius Toney. I guarantee you. Kadarius Toney is an absolute bum. Okay, if you look up bum, in the Urban Dictionary, I guarantee you, Kadarius Toney name comes up. All right, it just I don't get it. If Andy Reid can't get anything out of him, who's one of the best offensive coaches in the NFL, you think Dave Canales is going to get something out of Kadarius Toney? Give me a fucking break. He's a bum. So let's quit that narrative. Let's put that to rest. So we brought in Brandon Walton. All right. They cleared him for waivers to practice squad. This guy's a big fucking dude. Brandon Walton is a 6'5", 300 pounds left tackle out of Florida Atlantic. Okay. He's also taken snaps at the guard in the NFL. He was undrafted in 2020. Initially, he was signed with the Buffalo Bills before spending time on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he was on the Pittsburgh Steelers practice squad. So, okay. But he got his first taste of game action in 2022 with the Buccaneers. He when I looked him up a little bit more, he logged like last in 2022, he had like 234 snaps, 32 on special teams. He just didn't see the field on the offense last year, though. All right. In addition to Walton, they brought in Deon Cain, former Clemson wide receiver. I know him all too well. 6'1", 210 pounds, was a sixth-round pick by the Indianapolis Colts back in the 2018 draft. Despite posting over 2,000 yards, 20 touchdowns at Clemson, he's only played 15 games in the NFL. So, and he has yet to score. And he has yet to score a touchdown in those 15 games. So he is last NFL action was back in 2020 with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then he found his success in the USFL last year. So winning a championship with the Birmingham Stallions, earning him an MVP honors in that title game after catching 3 touchdown passes in that game now. So they had to make room, and they released a couple practice squad players. Safe to say, Jack Plummer, Jalen Coker aren't going anywhere, but others were at risk. And obviously, they signed both of those guys to make room. They waived Alex Cook, Walter Palmer, and Mason Brooks. So leaving one spot left open on this practice squad. So we'll see what they do with that. Hey, we don't take shots at Deon Cain, big. I feel that. James, what's up, man? Appreciate you joining. Antonio says, when can we take players from other teams' practice squads? That's a good question, Antonio. That's why I'm here, though. I think they can do it now, but I could be wrong, Antonio. Practice squad players are paid per week, can be released at any point during the season. Practice squad players are free to sign with other teams. They have to sign with 53. They have to be signed to the 53-man active roster. So this is how it works. So this is how practice squad works, okay? Just so that some of you guys know. All right, so this is how practice squad works. All right, so I'm going to explain it to you. Practice squads back in 2019 were limited to 2 and 10 players. All right, that changed, okay, to 12 players for 2 years. Then they increased it to 14 in 2022, and then the COVID hit, and then the league increased it to 16 players. So teams now it says that they can have more flexibility using practice squad players on game day. Practice squad players can be active on game day before the team announces their inactives. The player doesn't have to be elevated from practice squad to the main roster for this move. This can happen with up to 2 practice squad players per week, and a player is now able to be elevated 3 times per season. All right. So to be activated 4 times requires a player to be signed to the regular roster. This was a big change from past rules, and it says that it makes it easier for teams to have players they know and trust on the game day. Also, now have to subject to waivers when they sign to the main roster. Okay. Cut back on the practice squad. So, veteran players, different. We're really too far deep into this for you, honestly, Antonio. You just asked the question. Practice squad players are free to sign. So it just says really they're free to sign with anyone. A practice squad player cannot be signed to another practice squad unless he's first released or waived. So that's what we got. Happy Friday, chat. Make sure you hit that like button. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate that. Mad Chatter says, is Stephon Gilmore brother any good? Honestly, I have no idea. Mad Chatter. Honestly, I don't. Can't say that I do know if he's any good or not. All right, let's get right into it. Let's get into this. Let's get into my wonderful PowerPoint presentation I have put together for you guys. I'm slower. How's that different, Clay? I don't know. What does that got? Why are you asking me that question? I don't know why you're asking. Nobody said you were slow. I didn't say you were slow. You said you were slow. That's on you, my guy. That's on you. All right, let's get right into it. NFL's hottest waiver pick, and he was the hottest waiver pick I would say he was the hottest waiver pick in the NFL, apparently, according to a bunch of NFL teams that wanted him just as much as we did, apparently. Oh, sorry. Well, I was speaking too fast. PowerPoint, take us to the classroom. Yeah, man. So the hottest waiver pick was actually the one we got. It seemed like there was like 6 other teams, apparently. So and for these guys, it's nice to be on the top of the waiver wire, especially and for this team, especially because when everyone else wants what you have on Wednesday, the Carolina Panthers, they flex that number 1 waiver wire priority, claim 6 players after the NFL's roster cuts. And among those claims, it came out that Shamar Bartholomew here, I know his number's 40, but he was 29 at one point at the Jets, was released by the Jets just a day early. So the Panthers weren't the only ones eyeing him. Okay. According to Tom Pelissero, there was actually 3 other teams eyeing him. It was actually the Los Angeles Chargers. Okay. The New Orleans Saints and the Kansas City Chiefs. So he was the most sought after player on the waiver wire. And the Panthers got this guy, man. And obviously he was a hot commodity, drawing interest from multiple teams. All right. So basically 4 teams in total he was drawing interest from. So what was the buzz around this kid? Well, if you look at the PFF there, right? And I'm looking at it with you guys. You look at that PFF grade. Okay. 85.2 coverage grade, 82.5 run defensive grade, 9 targets, 0 receiving yards allowed, 1 forced incompletion, and a 39.6 passer rating allowed. And that I know that's preseason, but that's really fucking good. I mean, it's really good. I know that this isn't the most ideal, right, candidate, right? We wanted Stephon Gilmore. There's other guys out there, Dory Jackson, Xavier Howard, those kinds of guys, right? I get it. It's not the sexiest name in the world, but he was obviously a sexy name enough for 4 other teams to go after him. 4 other teams to go after him. So, I mean, you can't be mad at it. Other teams wanted him. We got him first. So, what was the buzz around this kid? So obviously you saw the Pro Football Focus records, right? 6 foot, but the kid's 6'1", 200 pounds of a cornerback. Fits the mold, that's for sure. In this Edinburgh defense, fits the mold for Dave Canales and those big corners. Again, didn't allow a single receiving yard on 9 targets, folks. 9 targets and didn't allow one receiver to get a yard. A passer rating of a 39.6 and a coverage grade of an 85.2. Dude's a problem. The dude's a problem. I think he makes the main roster. I won't be surprised if Shamar Bartholomew gets pulled up to the main roster. And if he hasn't already, he needs to be. I like what I see from this kid. I watched some of his highlight tape. The kid's got great hip movement. And he goes to the ball. He doesn't go after the player. He goes after the ball. His eyes continue to stay with the wide receiver, and he stays with the quarterback too. It's like he sees it coming before it happens, almost. At least, and now again, these are preseason games, the highlights. I get it. I'm not going to overhype it. I'm going to kind of slow down here. I'm very excited about this guy, though. All right, as you can tell, because I've been pounding. You guys know me. I've been pounding the table to bring in some quarterback depth. And we did. DeRio Sunchild, what's up, man? He's already okay. He's already on the main roster. All the newcomers are, just FYI. Okay. Thank you, Doug. Thank you for correcting me. I was getting too excited to not even think about that. See, Doug keeps me straight. Because then he keeps me, he keeps me straight. Appreciate that, Doug. Appreciate that. But I love it. This is how, I'll be honest with you guys. This is how I'm feeling about it. Yeah. Woo. That's how I'm feeling about it. You know what I mean? So I like it. We'll see how it pans out, though. Again, I have to see it with my own eyes. But I'm happy about it. All right, let's get into some of these other cats. All right, so obviously we got Bartholomew. All right, we got some Bartholomew over here. So Mr. Bartholomew, again, I'm going to give you a little bit more backstory on this kid. Okay. 6'1". He's a rookie cornerback out of Georgia Southern. If some of you that didn't know. Again, snatched up by the New York Jets, was known for his playmaking ability in college. Over 30 passes to deflections, double-digit interceptions there in Georgia Southern. He's a promising undrafted talent who makes way. I think he's going to make some waves in the secondary, like we were just discussing. Next up, okay, the next guy I want to talk about here is actually Jamie Sheriff. I really like this kid too. I like this kid a lot. Obviously, these are his preseason numbers, as you see up here. 12 pressers, led all rookies. By the way, this guy led all rookie edge rushers. Dallas Turner. Okay, Liatu Lietu. Those big name guys. Led all rookies in the preseason. 12 pressures, 3 sacks, and a 16.7 win rate. Sizable edge. Guys played out of Southern Alabama. Right? Was a surprise cut by the Seattle Seahawks, to be honest, with those kinds of numbers. Led the team in sacks during the preseason, of course, 3 sacks. That's a sack per game in the preseason. 6'4", 250 pounds, brings the guy's a physical specimen. He's got that physical presence on the line. He's going to let you know. Welcome to Carolina, Jamie Sheriff. There's a new sheriff in town. All right. There's a new sheriff in town. Hunky dory. I need to actually re-up my my prescription. I ain't gonna lie, my guy. Lomax with the $2 donation. What you missed just got here. We're just breaking down some of the practice squad players, my guy. My guy. Appreciate you with that $2 dono. Yeah. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you. 3 sacks is good for a rookie in preseason, for sure. Sheriff is a disruptor. I'm loving it. Loving it. Mr. Hunky Dory. Yeah. Someone's got to do it, Mr. Hunky Dory. Somebody's got to do it. You know what I mean? Somebody's got to do it. My ADD kicks in, you know what I mean? Somebody's got to do it, I appreciate y'all guys, though. All right. Ask Team J if Canales protects his buddies. Ain't no friends in business. This is true. This is true. All right. Let's get back into it. Let's get into Mr. Isaac. Another one that I'm actually pretty high on as well. Keenan Isaac, a 6'3", 190-pound corner, brings the size. The kid's athletic as shit. Position. He initially signed with Tampa Bay. That's how they broke it down. As an undrafted free agent out of Alabama State. Brief time there in Tampa Bay. Was limited to special teams, but his potential to grow more, I think, is significant. I mean, you look at the PFF numbers. These are his PFF numbers from this preseason. 90.2 coverage grade, 54 coverage snaps, only 1 receiving yard allowed, 1 interception, and a 16.7 passer rating allowed. Now, Doug, correct me if I'm wrong. Was it Bartholomew and Keenan Isaac in the last practice? Were they the ones that had the picks, or was that Tyreek, who I'm going to get into next? Was that Tyreek Castro Fields that posted a interception last practice? I will learn how to send you money if you play an entire John Cena prank call. I don't know about that. Who threw the picks? I'm not sure. James, I'm not sure on that. I just know in the practice, I know Keenan Isaac was, I think Keenan Isaac was, you were correct the way you said it first. Okay, so both of these guys had picks. Was it against Bryce, Doug, or was it against, maybe like Dalton or Plum the Bum? Raw Walk, what's up, man? Appreciate you joining, brother. Glad you be here. Happy Friday to everyone. Happy Friday. It's a beautiful Friday here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It's a beautiful Friday. Once I hop off of here, I got a little bit of work to get done, and then I'm going to the gym. We don't know, James. Everybody been trying to figure out who threw them. Okay. So nobody mentioned that. All right. Well then. Lomax says, what games are you attending? Another $2 no. Lomax coming in with the clutch today. Appreciate you, Lomax. Appreciate you. What games am I attending? I'm not attending. I'm looking into some games, Lomax. I'm trying to pick 3 that I really, really want to attend, and then I'm going to go buy them and pick them. I just haven't figured it out yet. I will be I attend at least 2 to 3 games a year, at least. Right. And honestly, guys, I don't know about you. And sound off in the comments. Me personally, I'm a guy that is more of a tailgate kind of guy. I like to go and tailgate. You know what I mean? I like to go and tailgate and do it that way. But that's just me. You know what I mean? That's just me. I like to tailgate and then go out there. And then I'll go to a bar and watch some games. But I'm going to go at least to 2 or 3 games this year, Lomax. So, again, Lomax, thank you so much for another $2 donation by you, my friend. Appreciate you. The plot thickens, right? Exactly. The plot thickens. That is for sure. Hold on. I'm going to move myself over here because I feel like I am in the way. That's better. That's better. You can see me over here. See, I can move myself around. This is fun, messing around with StreamYard. I got 2 games already locked in this year. That's as you should, Doug. As you should. Doug, then you need to tell me what those 2 games are. Are they home games or away games? Because you were telling me you're going to a bunch of away games, I think. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. 2 fans to stand lived 8 miles from me towards Wilmington. Nice, man. Not that far at all. Not that, I mean, honestly, not that far. Like 45 minutes, maybe. If that. If that. So not that far at all, Mr. Hunky Dory. I am not far from you. I'm in between. I say Myrtle Beach, but I'm in between like North Myrtle and Conway. I was living in Myrtle Beach until I bought this house. I'm going to Tampa home game here as I live in near Tampa. Nice. Oh, you going to both of those games? I got cousins in charge. We're getting up this year. Nice. At Saints and at Washington. I'm trying to get a game in December. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm gonna figure out something, guys. I just haven't figured out what games I want to go to yet. I'm gonna look at the home schedule again. Love to go to the Germany game. That would be fucking sick. But I can guarantee you, between flights, hotel, you're talking about at least a $5,000 trip, if not more. That would be a good game, maybe. Lomax, go to the Bengals game. That might be sick to go to. I actually might go to the Kansas City game just because of Patrick Mahomes. But maybe, maybe. But I probably would need to buy that Kansas City game right now. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into the next guys here. We got a couple more here. We got a couple more studs, it seems like, that we brought in. So we brought in, of course, first guy up here we're going to talk about is Mr. Jared Kingston, the tackle. 6'4", 300 pounds, drafted by the San Francisco 49ers. 6th round pick, by the way. The 49ers tried to transition him to right guard. We seem to have been more interested in utilizing him at his natural position at the tackle. So this move adds depth to that offensive line, which I was asking for once I saw the depth chart after the cuts. We did not have a left tackle there, even though Josh Nijman is technically there. But for some reason, ESPN seems like they got it backwards. And I don't know if David Newton's the guy who's handling that ESPN and the depth chart over there, but dude, man, needs to fix it, whoever it is. But this guy's going to provide some flexibility insurance against injuries, but 71.9 pass blocking grade, 86 pass blocking snaps this preseason, only 2 pressures allowed, and a 98.8 pass block efficiency. So, again, a lot of these guys, honestly, I think are developmental talent. Now, some of these guys might be day one starters for all we know. Again, it all depends on how these guys adapt to the scheme, adapt to the playbook. And even though I'm excited about those other guys, like I was talking about earlier, again, it does come down to those things. I'm positive about it right now because I do like what I see from those first 3, but I also like these guys too. Just like the man in the middle, I like Jonathan Rattigan. All right. Familiar face for this Panthers coaching staff. He's spent time with them in Seattle. He was an undrafted free agent from Army. Has been a special team stalwart, basically playing in nearly every game when he was healthy. And his experience and work ethic could provide invaluable on a team who's obviously looking to improve, right? We're a team that's looking to improve. We're trying to bring more depth, more of that resilience. But based off his PFF grade, 3 run stop, 2 passing stops, and 1 forced incompletion. All right. And then we've got another corner, Tyreek Castro Fields at at 66'1" from Penn State. All right. We are Penn State. Castro Fields has initially drafted, was initially drafted in the 6th round back in the 2022 NFL draft by the San Francisco 49ers. Bounced around, ended up in Washington, has experience, primarily on special teams, has a layer of versatility, and he adds that layer of versatility to this Panthers defensive backfield. So 75.8 coverage grade, 11 targets, 11 receiver yards allowed, 2 forced incompletions, and again, a 39.6 passer rating allowed. So here's a question that I got to ask you guys, right, in the chat. Are you worried? I think that's another poll question I should have put up there. Are you worried about this cornerback room now with these guys? Now that we've added, right, the hottest name on the waiver wires, okay? And then you go out and you add Keenan Isaac and Tyreek Castro Fields, right? Tailgating is better, but it's hard to watch the game on TV near the stadium. The reaction's always slow. If you're watching it on TV because you can hear the live, true that. That's true, Jeff. You make a good point there, my friend. You make a good point there. The guard was an A+ pickup. He has room to grow for sure. Kingston is a beast. He put up 36 reps on the bench at 225. That's pretty damn good. 49ers are pissed we got him. Okay. That's good news. I got a friend who's a Vikings fan. I keep trying to explain Sam Darnold's booty cheek, son. Yeah, just tell him he'll be seeing Ghost once again there. Maybe not. Who knows? He's got Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson. We'll see what they do. He only allowed 2 pressures, no sacks. He might be him. I'll be honest. I'm feeling good about our secondary now. Our starters are solid, and now we added much needed depth on top of the waiver wire. Not right. Pass rush I'm concerned about, though. Marcos finally gets in here. He must have been slacking. Nah, he's probably working. Marcos is a hard worker, for those of you that don't know. Guys, do me a favor. We're at 25 likes. Please do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button, okay? 25 likes. There's 41 people in here watching. Let's go. Let's get this live stream to 100 likes. All right? Just 100 likes. That's all I ask. Let's get those likes up. All right? If you like this kind of content, then come on. Come on. Hell no, we have size, toughness in that room now, for sure. I'm always going to be worried about that corner room. Horn hasn't showed he can stay healthy the entire season. James, we'll see. I'm having a good feeling that narrative is going to change this season. I have a narrative that's going to change this season. Cornerback room is solid, but now we're worried about tight ends injuries. Mom from Canales on them during the press conference. Thieves Ave may be gone, but welcome. Lockdown Avenue. I love that. Hey, Doug, if that happens, I might have a merch idea. If that happens, I have a merch idea. Marcos quit work. Got up at 4 a.m. I was taking a nap. See, look, I told y'all that boy be working. Are you down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. Oh, you didn't know I knew that. All right. Let's get next into it. Terrace Marshall sides with the 49ers. I kind of wanted to harp on this a little bit. Okay? I wanted to harp on this a little bit. Because, Terrace Marshall is heading west. And he's on the practice squad now. He's not on the starting lineup. Despite his standout performance during training camp, did not do enough to secure a spot on this team, right? He didn't do enough for me in the past 3 years. He's been here 4 years, whatever it is. I think it's 3. But anyways, Well, the most we saw out of this kid and the glimpses of the old LSU days that we saw this kid was when Wilkes took over after Matt Rule got fired. Okay. I believe that Carolina was doing everything they can to feed this man the ball, to give him a highlight tape, to get his name out there to other teams to try to shop him around, which they were, because he wanted to be traded. He didn't want to be here. And I wish him nothing but the best. All right. But you got drafted 59th overall by us back in the 2021 draft. Had a solid career at LSU. Came to Carolina. You had all these high expectations. And you just struggled to make any kind of impact. You fell short of the production that typically a second-round pick is expected of. Because over the course of 36 games, this man only managed 64 passes and 767 yards and just one touchdown. Now, last year, I can't really blame Terrace Marshall from last year. There was times that he was supposed to be on the field and your head coach didn't even know he wasn't even on the field. Same thing with Adam Thielen. Y'all remember that? Terrace Marshall never saw the field barely last year. But you get these guys in here like Deontay Johnson, you get Xavier Legette. You know, honestly, Marshall just became expendable at that point. Especially with Thielen and Mingo still being on the roster. Obviously, he's going into a deep wide receiver depth chart there in San Francisco. Now, obviously, Brandon Ayuk just signed a big major deal. All right. The San Francisco boasts one of the league's top wide receiver corps. They just got Ricky Parasol out of Florida in the draft. So if there's anyone but I will say, if there's anyone that can unlock his potential, Kyle Shanahan is the coach that could do that. He is widely regarded as one of the best offensive play callers in the game. I know that Marshall's has had a rocky one. I think a fresh start is going to be much needed for him. I think it'll be great. It could be just what he needs to prove his worth. If he can learn from Shanahan and he can make most of those opportunities on that practice squad, he might still fulfill that promise that made him a second-round pick. I will say, a new playbook to learn, a new path, and you're under a guy like Kyle Shanahan, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, I'm not going to say that Marshall's going to start over Brandon Ayuk. Not going to say that he's going to start over Deebo Samuel. Hell, I'm not even going to say he's going to start over Ricky Parasol. All right? I don't even know who's on that roster after Ricky Parasol, honestly. Who else they got on that team at the wide receiver position? But this could be a place where Marshall can find himself again. I'm just saying, with Kyle Shanahan. It was the Matt Rule effect for Marshall. Frank Reich forgot he was on the team, right? Sorry, Clay. Team J did not see CFL much last year, but he sure saw the peaks. Right. We had Joe Brady as our OC, and he coached at LSU with him, so he should have known how to use him if Marshall had anything, right? And honestly, out of anybody, I'll be honest with you guys, I was surprised that San Francisco brought him in, honestly, because I thought that it was going to be like a team like maybe Cincinnati where he goes and plays with his old college teammates, or maybe it's it's Buffalo because of Joe Brady. So San Francisco picking him up. I mean, maybe they were not sure if they were going to get the IU thing done, but who knows? Anyways, I wish Terrace Marshall nothing but the best. And we'll see if he pans out. Panthers scout former first-round pick. If you guys don't know, they scouted out former first-round pick, pass rusher. Obviously, we're still actively searching for another pass rusher. They brought in veteran defensive end Charles Harris, worked him out. He's a former University of Missouri standout, 2-time second all-team SEC, 22nd overall pick back in the 2017 draft by the Miami Dolphins. Of course, of his 7-year career, he played for the Dolphins, Atlanta Falcons back in 2020, and most recently then with the Detroit Lions 2021 to 2023. So during that time, he's racked up 16 and a half sacks, 3 forced fumbles. I think it's a respectable stat line for a guy who's been a journeyman, but you're currently right now, we're projected right now, we're starting outside linebacker. You got DJ Wanu, who's expected to miss at least the first 4 weeks of this season. So that has left us to find a reliable partner for Jadeveon Clowney, who's on the edge. You got Dave Canales, has been clear about the situation, stating that the spot really is up for grabs. So a 29-year-old Harris, I think it's a guy who's probably still looking to prove that he has what it takes, obviously, to make that impact. He started 3 of his 13 games for the Lions last season. And the Panthers, I think, are likely to evaluate him. And then if he can bring some veteran savviness, experience to this defense, see what he's got. I mean, it can't be much worse than bringing in a Houston from last year. At least this guy's only 29. So with this season quickly approaching, they're clearly leaving no stone unturned in their search for some more pass rush. So I'm appreciative of that. I told y'all, Dan Morgan's going to continue to do what he needs to do to put this team together. We are playing musical chairs right now with this pass rush, for sure. Yep, I'm bringing this topic up. Here's my rant for the day, because it is fuck. Panthers claim unwanted title as the NFL's least stable team by The Athletic. By The Athletic. Now, let me move my ass out the way. Okay? By The Athletic. I'm going to move my ass out the way. I'm right up here to the top right corner if you can't see me. Yeah. This just came out by The Athletic. It actually didn't just come out the other day. It just came out I want to say I don't know how long ago it came out. It's been pretty recent. So, yeah. Panthers claim unwanted title as the NFL's least stable team. Miss Hunkadory, I agree with what James said too. For sure. Are y'all shocked about this? Yeah, I know. I went mute. I know I was on mute, Mr. Hunky Dory. Guys, make sure you get those likes up. Get those likes up. I greatly appreciate it. If you're watching on X, come on over to the YouTube channel. Make sure you come over, like and subscribe. That's all I ask. All right. But are y'all, listen, Panthers fans, are we surprised by this at all? because we've had a rough run lately. And now we're being recognized for all the wrong reasons. You go look at this latest column by The Athletic. Ben Standig did a survey of 31 NFL agents to determine which teams are the most stable and which teams are the least stable. Who made the best offseason moves and more. Unfortunately for us, we were top of the list for the least stable organization. Out of 31 agents, nine singled out the Panthers as the most chaotic franchise in the NFL. And what was the common thread among their comments? David fucking Tepper, our owner. One agent bluntly stated that our organizational stability comes from the owner and the front office needs more than the owner gives. That's what he stated. So this agent also pointed out that while a great quarterback can sometimes mask front office missteps, the Panthers didn't exactly have a solid plan in that department either, though. Right? Another agent noted that most NFL teams are relatively competent and there are few expectations, and the Panthers are leading the pack, and primarily due to Tepper's heavy-handed involvement. So now they come out with this article. We're talking about how this article that by The Athletic, for some of the you that are just joining in, you missed out on some of the waiver wires, the new waiver wire claims, new practice squad players, new guys that got cut. So if you're just joining in, you missed out on that from the first top of the hour at 11:30. But the same agent who talked about the heavy hand of David Tepper then came out and didn't hold back critiquing this team at all. Number one, for us botching that Brian Burns trade. And you know which trade I'm talking about because it wasn't the one against the Giants. It wasn't that one. You know which one I'm talking about. The one where the LA Rams offered us 2 first-round picks. You know which one I'm talking about for Brian Burns. To me, suggesting that the Panthers could have obviously extracted much more value there if they weren't muddling around with his money and this management wasn't dicking off. So here we are once again, just facing the reality that this team is seen as the league's least stable. It's a far cry from 2016 when the Carolina Panthers represented the NFC back in that Super Bowl. Since Tepper took over in 2018, the team has spiraled. It's been dysfunctional, and it's only deepened more and more, and especially in recent seasons. We have the Panthers' worst record in the NFL last year. Didn't even get the consolation of a top draft pick. Have already traded it away to Chicago for the chance of Bryce Young. Then you bring Young in, surround him with a lackluster of a supporting cast. That's coaching staff and players, let's be honest. And an incompetent GM. It's clear that the rest of the league isn't impressed with the direction of this team. So now we have to hope, and all the pressure now lies in the hands not only on Bryce Young, not only on Dan Morgan, but also it hopes that Dave Canales can steer this ship from an iceberg that's waiting for us to sink this ship like the fucking Titanic, to somehow get us back to relevancy once again. We have to face some of these hard truths sometimes as fans. But luckily enough, as of late, right? Luckily enough for us, as of late, we haven't heard anything from David Tepper. We haven't heard anything of him meddling within football operations this offseason. Luckily enough. Now, again, how long is that? How much patience does this guy really have? Because lately he really hasn't had any patience. Right? So let's see if he can continue to just stay in the background, like he said at that press conference. The first press conference when they announced Dan Morgan and Dave Canales as the next GM and head coach. Because if it gets like that again, it's going to come down to the fact that David Tepper is going to be forced out as the Panthers owner if this continues. The NFL will not continue to allow this guy to continue to run this team as he did the past couple of years. They will run him out because it's killing the NFL's money. Just saying. So that's something y'all got to think about. But let's move on. Let's talk about this. Let's call it what it is, folks. Let's call it what it is. It's called a rebuild. That's what it's called. It's a rebuild. Don't tell Morgan that. Don't tell Dan Morgan that, though. Don't tell Dan Morgan what I said, folks. Right? I think the Carolina Panthers actually listen to some of us Carolina Panthers content creators. I think they do. Put ones in the chat if you think they do. Put twos in the chat if you think they don't. Put ones in the chat if you think they do. Put twos in the chat if you think they don't. We get Dan Morgan as the newly promoted general manager. Insist on it. It's that this is more of a retooling than a rebuild. I mean, if we want to really call it anything, I feel like it's a full-scale real renovation. Like, obviously, he's known for his intense demeanor. Morgan has brought the same fiery approach to his new role as he was on the field. Now he's obviously been tasked with a daunting task to turn this thing around, which we were just talking about with a guy like David Tepper, who's now his, his reputation is not good around the NFL, right? So Morgan has to step into this tough situation. The Panthers hit rock bottom last season. They won, right? Just 2 games. Won 2 games. Finished dead last in the standings. To make things worse, they didn't even have the consolation of the number 1 overall pick. Having traded it away to draft Bryce Young with a team who's in a total disarray, a tight salary cap constraints, Morgan had his work cut out for him, right? Despite those challenges, Morgan has managed to generate some optimism among Panthers fans. The franchise is looking ahead to the 2024 season now. And hopefully this cautious sense of hope that we're all having. The expectations aren't really sky high, right? As they were. There's a feeling that things are starting to move in the right direction under Dave Canales, who has actually brought in a very clear vision, a unified approach to this team's development. He has a game plan. He actually has a game plan, and he's stuck with it, and he's sticking with it, just like he's done in these games. Those things that the last 2 head coaches couldn't quite nail down. Now, I will say, I felt like when Steve Wilks took over, he had a game plan, and he stuck with it. And he did. And he executed that game plan. And almost got us to the playoffs and almost won us the NFC South. I still think to this day, them not giving Steve Wilkes a chance at the head coach position was still the wrong move, but it might have been the right move. Who knows? It's something the world may never know. But now Dan Morgan is walking a fine line with this retooling talk. I don't like the word retool. We heard retool. I think most fans will understand that this is, in fact, a rebuild. Morgan prefers to call it a retooling due to the solid core players he believes this team already has. Right? To me, this is a rebuild. Right? Morgan's approach marks a shift from the overly optimistic proclamations of his predecessor, Scott Fitterer, because that's who he was. He was an optimistic junkie. We look good on paper. That's what we did. We looked good on paper, but it didn't show up on the field. We were in on every deal. Could have fooled me, which we sure as hell got fooled. But he's avoiding the word rebuild. He's setting a higher bar for this team. That's what he's doing. He's reviewing to have those lower expectations just because the team is in transition. But here's the catch. By avoiding the term rebuild, Morgan is also putting extra pressure on himself. It's clear that the Panthers aren't ready to make that splash yet, folks. Get it through some of your thick heads. I want y'all to understand this. I think we can surprise some people, and I want them to surprise me. But as of this moment, I believe that this team right now is still a 6-win team at best. Morgan doesn't want to send a message that they're completely out of this running. And I get why he's doing that. It's a delicate balance, especially with the season opener against the New Orleans Saints, an in-division rival. Earlier this offseason, though, we think about it, Morgan was preaching this word patience, right? Suggesting that this is a long-term project. And I can agree to that. I agree to that. But he's reluctant to use the term rebuild. And I think he's doing that to protect the players, to protect himself, protect the coaching staff, to not put that narrative out there, because rebuild technically, for those, take it as a negative. But honestly, to me, that's what this is. Let's call it what it is. And that probably doesn't sit well with your owner, David Tepper, but he doesn't know any better. He doesn't know any better. He doesn't know ball, but he thinks he does. He knows marketing. He knows sales. He knows entrepreneurships. He knows wherever else he came from. So now he's staying out of the spotlight finally this offseason because we really haven't heard from him, which he's known for those impulsive decisions, which has gotten us to where we are now and got us to an unwanted title, right? But Morgan deserves the credit here for what he's done this offseason, all the moves. He has shown that he is not afraid to make bold decisions, including leveraging the number one waiver wire priority through week 4. But as the season looms, the real test will be whether Morgan's efforts translate into progress on the field. Very true. Right? He can be as aggressive as he wants, but are those aggressive moves going to pan out on the field? Right? So whether you believe that this team's retooling or just going through the motions of a rebuild, Well, I think will soon be evident. I think the results are going to determine if Morgan's optimism is justified or if this is another chapter in the Carolinas' ongoing struggles for stability. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to drop the bomb on that one. That's my rant for the day. This is a rebuild. Let's call it what it is, folks. Let's call it what it is. It's a rebuild. It's a rebuild. And it's not, he's protecting everyone involved in this whole ordeal of the Carolina Panthers. It is a rebuild. Yeah, and Jeff, honestly though, maybe, and I get that, but personally, I think that this is I still think this is qualifying a rebuild because even though last year your quarterback, right, you get a new quarterback, that's how you start your rebuild. But technically, should we count last year, Jeff? Do we count last year after what we saw? All the incompetency from last year? I mean, I think this is great, Jeff. I think you have a fair point in what you're saying. But with the incompetency of the head coach, the incompetency of the meddling football owner, the incompetency of the overly optimistic GM that promised us so much that we were ready to win right now, that we were bringing in players that didn't fit the scheme. You had an offensive line that allowed 62 sacks last year. You had a wide receivers that couldn't create separation. You had a head coach that was bouncing back and forth with the play calling. Didn't know if players were on the field. You had other coaches up in his ear, your quarterback's ear. He had more voices in his head than Randy Orton. I don't think we ever had a rebuild, Jeff. And now they're having to do it now, even with the quarterback that's still technically new because he's still under his rookie contract. So, yeah, this is a rebuild. So, the rebuild didn't start last year, folks. It didn't. We can't say that. Oh, I forgot another thing on that list. Coaches snitching on coaches. We had some rats. We had the Hunger Games last year. The rebuild started when Dan Morgan took over and actually started making decisions and actually stuck to his decisions and actually had a strategic plan. And you brought in Brant Tillis, who's actually very cap savvy and smart, unlike with the other front office that we had. And we got rid of that most of those front office people and the scouts and stuff like that were incompetent of what they were doing. And then we finally have an owner that's not meddling in football operations. At least that's what we're seeing right now. The rebuild starts now. This is not a retool. I don't care what anybody says. And we're rebuilding now. Last season was like going to a NASCAR race with a broke down vehicle. That's how last season was. Yeah, and it bothers me too, Doug. It's a rebuild. We need to call it what it is, though. I hate the word retool. Yeah, we will. Week 1 will tell us a good bit. I'm going to give it till week 6 to finally see where we really truly are. I think week 6 you can truly tell where this team is. Doug, I'm giving it to week 6 of this year. This will tell me where we're at. It'll give me a full breakdown of where this team is at. Oh, you're good, Chris. Unfortunately, Jeff, this is a whole new coaching staff, though. So technically, you're still rebuilding. Technically, the rebuild starts all over when you bring in a whole new coaching staff and a whole new front office with a whole new scheme, with a whole new different strategy that they're going to be doing. Unfortunately, the rebuild starts now. I get what you're saying. But by technicality, it starts by now with all these new faces, in my opinion. But you make a great statement. I don't think that you make a good point, too. We are here because Tepper's hiring people that aren't qualified for the job, college coach with no resume that hasn't done a damn thing in the NFL. Yep. It all started with the whole Matt Rule thing, though. And then you bringing in check down Teddy Bridgewater, who's been the best quarterback we've had since then, statistically, which is crazy to think about. So I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Again, great show. Shout out to you guys, all of you guys in the chat. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure you do me a favor. We're trying to get this live to 100 goals, so make sure you do me a favor. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the live. That's also another way you can do it. And also, guys, make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on any new content. Also, go check out the NFC South Roundtable. I think we posted up another video today. Let me see if it got posted up. Let me see if it got posted up today. Did it get posted up? Oh, no. This is getting posted up today, or this is going to be going on at 1 p.m. EST. Actually, in the next 15 minutes, folks. Look, next 15 minutes. So, guys, this is all you have to do. Look at this. Look at this. Watch this. I want to show y'all what y'all can do on my channel. It's the same thing you can do here. You do this. You hit the like. You hit the subscribe. You click the post notifications on all. Okay? And then get in the comment section. Didn't take that long. That's it. So do me a favor. Go over to the NFC South Roundtable. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat. Go watch it. Make sure y'all hit that like button and hit that subscribe button over there. Guys, we're almost 1,000 subscribers over there. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers over there. We're at 697. So make sure you go do that. All right. I'm done. I'm done. Love you guys. Happy Friday. Have a good Labor Day weekend. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. College football is back, baby. Maybe I'll post up some picks for you guys. I might have some betting picks for you guys this weekend. Because don't forget, BetUS, sponsorship of the Ropp Report. and of course the NFC South Roundtable. Sign up for free today. You get a 125% bonus on your first 3 bets up to $2,000. So go get it. Link is in my description. All right. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Again, have a good weekend. Maybe I'll see you on the other side. All right. Peace.